turning in just a minute, but if we start all meetings, remember ABCD, everybody remember that? Who doesn't know what it is? Who doesn't know what that is? Okay. ABCD, whenever you approach the leg, it's anchor, bevel, cut, D is for dance. Unless you're not good at counting something on the leg, then D is diamond. The dance is when you hold the tool against you, and it shifts you away by holding the tool along the tool rest. And that's the easiest way to do it. Just try to do it with your arm, that will show up in the final product. So the anchor is the most important thing, putting the tool firmly against the tool rest before you approach the wood. If you do it beforehand, please let me know. I have this video of that, and I will put the proceeds. But at least for medical insurance, that's my best plan. And next benefit, you can let us know what that is. The bevel, you can float that bevel, and you can let the bevel be in contact with the wood and not cut. And why is that helpful? Because it can set you up for the cut and the dance. So you'll be at the right angle. If your bevel's way off and you have just the point of the tool, your tool will cut something that looks like a 78 RPM record. And it's really hard to stand out. If you have a brother-in-law in the sandwich business, it might not be so bad, but for the rest of us, it's a little bit bumpy. The 5 movements of the gouge are, we all know we can slide the tool along the tool rest. We can push the gouge into the work. We can rotate the gouge for a larger or smaller bite, right? That controls the aggressiveness of the cut. We can raise and lower the handle, which really does the same thing depending on how that tool is approaching the wood. And last, you can swing that handle. Remember we talked about everybody, I wanted everybody here to become swingers, to swing that handle around the bottom of the bowl so your bowl doesn't look like a tractor trailer. That's what we want to do. And you'll watch the demo this evening, and you watch Daryl, and I bet Daryl's going to swing that handle in both directions to get a perfectly round sphere that he's looking for. So when you watch the demo, be mindful of the little things that he does. These people are professional turners. He turns for a living. This is all Daryl does at this point is turning and demonstrations and things like that. Watch what he does. Watch his footwork. Watch how he approaches the work. Pick up tips. This is the best way to do it. When I learned wood turning, and the reason why I'm adamant about teaching is because I didn't have any wood so before you rely on all. So I had to learn on my own, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I sometimes perfected the wrong thing. And I think seeing people that are knowledgeable, create beautiful work, and learning from them, this is the best environment to do so. So you guys are very fortunate. So the last week we had Ed DeMay, and he turned or demonstrated the woodcraft Christmas ornaments. We still have some of those for sale. Right, Dave? We still have some. That's a very easy project. We have 2 chunks with the #1 jaws for that project. If anyone is interested, we'll help you get started with the wood. We'll help you get started with the project. They are super easy. It's a super fast thing. I turned them at Woodcraft for their extravaganza. Literally, for me, it's like a 2-minute turn. I have to slow it down because it just doesn't take the time. It's a super easy project, and they look great. So it's a great thing. So I would encourage you to see Dave if you want to buy any of those kits, and they are at a reduced price for when you can buy them for Woodcraft. Sharpening up stage. As we probably know, we've had a couple incidents with the wheels, and the incidents come from using a spindle roughing gouge on a V-arm on the Wolverine jig, and that causes a tremendous amount of damage to the wheels. Now, one of our wheels is damaged beyond repair. We have another one we're going to have it shortly. So the bad news is we damaged the wheel. The good news is no one's got hurt. The better news is that the new wheel we're getting is awesome because it's a 320 grit wheel. So on the grinder that's closer to me, the bowl gouges will be grounded 60 degrees with a 180 grit wheel. On the other side, we'll have a 320 grit wheel. So our mission with sharpening is to sharpen and not shorten. So with 180 grit, you take a lot of material off, and if you spend 10 minutes sharpening a gouge and take a quarter of an inch of steel away and turn a big pile of gray dust to the other end of the grinder, it's no sharper than just running it just quickly across. How do you tell if your gouge is sharp? Usually when I do it, I run at a super slow speed. These are 1800 RPM. When I'm at home, I'm probably at 300 or 400 RPM. I'm just wiping it across. I've had the same gouges for 10 years. I mean, these guys have been in my shop today, and I showed them gouges I bought from David Ellsworth himself a million years ago, and I'm still using them today because I don't grind the snot out of them. I just sharpen them if it's good enough, and then that's the end of it. If you can feel a slight burr on the inside, be very careful because the gouge is sharp. If you go across the blade, again, that's going to be fun to watch. Let me know. I would like to bring your ramen, and I'll split the proceeds with you. But at any rate, I think the new wheels will be coming shortly. They are not easy to get, so every time we have a mishap, it's $200 to $300 to repair that. We have a delay, we have machinery that's down. In this particular case, we had a real bad burr on the wheel, so to get it back up and running, we had to file round again, and it was really a nightmare. So the summary is, if you're using a spindle roughing gouge, does anyone not know what a spindle roughing gouge is? I suspect you do. But at any rate, the spindle roughing gouge, I think Dave's going to get one for us. They come in two sizes, 3/4. Actually, Chris has them. And 3/4 is in his right hand. My left hand. This is 3/4. This is 3/4. And these are spindle roughing gouges. These should never ever be ground on a Wolverine VR because you're close to the center point of the wheel. It's easy to put tremendous leverage, which will overpower the cam on the Wolverine jig, and it will catch. And this could come up and hit some pieces. We do have dentists within the membership here if you do have a mishap, but hopefully we can get them. So we are only grinding these on the platform, and they're so easy to grind. Everybody thinks they're so difficult. We were grinding them at one point, and we had a video that was grinding them on the VR, and you round the edges off, which is not right. To grind them on the platform, you put your fingers on the top, you hold it up here, you rotate it once around. You can move it back 5 to 7 degrees. When you get to this point, to 90 degrees, 5 to 7 degrees, that's it. You're done. You're good to go. Then take a 600 grit and take that burr out, go to your wood, and it'll cut like butter. Everything will cut perfectly. So it's super easy to sharpen. You should end up with just one facet. There's not going to be a million facets on the bottom of it, and these will be super sharp. We sharpened some of these last night. They're still sharp and looking good. So we had somebody drop one. That was good. So does anyone have any questions on sharpening?
So you're saying you wouldn't use
The VR?
the marker? I know what it is, the marker.
No, there's no need for that because someone that I know took the lever off the platform so it can't be adjusted. I did that. Please do not adjust that platform.
What did you do?
40 degrees. So this is set for 40 degrees. So spindle roughing gouges should be between 35 and 45 degrees. 40 degrees works great. That's what I use at home. That's what I've used for years and years. It works like a champ. So that's what we're going to use. It's smack dab in the middle, and it's perfectly safe to do that.
Okay, is there another platform?
There is another platform that's fully adjustable.
The small one?
You can do anything you want with that. And if you want another platform, I'll get another one tomorrow when I'm at food prep. I'll get you as many as you want. But please don't adjust that one. I brought in gauges and adjusted it. I spent hours doing this, and and then somebody moved it after I hit the handle. So when we came in last night to do the fence, we were in a panic. Yes.
That's the wheel on the other side.
Yeah, eventually we're going to paint it blue. So what we're going to do is, the color code system is brilliant. Whoever came up with that is, I commend them. So anything that's red is going to be for a bowl gouge. Anything that's yellow will be spindle gouges. The spindle gouges have not been sorted out. So they're right now at about 50 degrees, which is really not useful. And we're going to eventually go to 40 degrees on the spindle gouges. Chris has the spindle gouge here. This is basically what we look at. Like, what's the difference between a spindle gouge and a bowl gouge? Does anybody know?
The color of the handle. That's a different, no?
I did, yeah. But now the difference is the depth of the flute. So the outer diameter of the shaft would be the same because there's a 1/2 inch or 3/8. They even have bigger spindle. I have bigger spindle gouges that are 5/8. But the flute has a much shallower flute. So it tends to be a pretty strong tool, but these should be grounded 40 degrees for optimal performance. A detail spindle gouge, which has even a shallower flute, should be technically at 30. You could do 40, but technically you can 30. And a bowl gouge has a very bowl gouges can be with a U-shaped flute or a V flute or a parabolic. Some of the beats they also call a parabolic. I don't want to talk too long because I want to get into questions. I'm sorry, there's a question. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For years, this is clarification. For years, we used to be railed for going into the marker. And
We want to do that.
I heard you, but what I'm trying to understand, you just touch it. And it works.
Yeah.
Is that not?
You won't have
acceptable alternative?
the reason for magic markers so you can angle the plate to the right angle, right? You always move it up and down, so you've got a full line on the magic marker.
I'm not making myself understood. When we use the magic marker and we roll the wheel, we got the line,
Correct.
right? And then we just touched it.
Correct.
But
But
it was sharp,
right.
and we didn't grind away.
But a lot of people grind away and grind away. And
That's why they're so short.
That's why all of our tools are so short. We have a whole bunch of these that are too short to put on a platform. But I just want to clarify to make sure that we're on the same page. So if I have the platform set up at a known 40 degrees, I would have to use the magic marker to get that angle. Yeah, even this, we have them shorter than this, so they're digits, and they're really short to sharpen. But if I didn't know that the platform was set at 40 degrees, I would use the magic marker to set that up so I could duplicate that error. But now I've set the platform at 40 degrees and I took the handle up so it can't be adjusted. So you can just go up to it and there's no reason to use the marker.
So the platform is fixed.
At 40 degrees. And if we had a welder, I would use a welder.
Maybe we will.